Ah, autumn! It is the time of reset, a wonderful time of year. And though we are mid-October and heading towards winter, there's still loads going on here on the farm. I've still got 2 more weeks of my CSA, so I'm still picking every weekend for my customers. Hyacinth piglets are still pretty much free range at this point. They're shut away at night just so I know where they are. They've basically kind of worked out a territory now, and I can go across the field and find them snuffling around and eating berries and acorns and just having the best life before they're rehomed. And I think the poultry enjoy this time of year as well. They're all molting out and getting their fresh new feathers, and laying is sort of dwindled a bit, but that means their body's just resetting, which is great. But we do have a problem with the sheep, and that is that my stud ram may not be so much of a stud anymore. So just over 3 weeks ago, I split all of my sheep into their breeding flocks, which meant there was Montague, my stud ram, and he had 7 Norfolk Horn ewes. Barbar, my new Norfolk Horn, he had 3 Norfolk Horn ewes, 2 of which were Montague's daughters, so they obviously can't breed with him. And then my Jacob's Oberon with all of his ewes. And pretty quickly, Montague covered all 7 ewes within the space of 10 days maybe. They all cycled, he covered them all, they all had green raddle across their bottoms, which showed that he had done the deed. The problem occurred 15 days later or so when he started to recover them, and this was concerning because the first ewe I didn't worry too much because sometimes she just doesn't catch, and actually funnily enough the first ewe was a ewe that didn't get pregnant last year, so I was wondering, is she now barren? But I list all the names as they're done, so I know exactly when they've been tupped and when they're due to lamb. And following the list is following when they came back into heat. So it got to U3, so he covered Amora, then he recovered Demi, then he recovered Connie, and I thought there is something going on here. So I pulled him out, and I put Barbar in, and so I knew what was going on. I brought a new colour raddle, so I got an orange raddle, slapped that on Barbar, and do you know what? Barbar then covered Portia, and then today has covered Cotton. So there's only 2 more ewes that haven't been covered twice. So it seems like Montague may have not done his job. It remains to be seen over the next few days whether the 2 remaining ewes get covered, and then whether the 3 ewes that Montague covered twice cycle again. Because it might be a problem with the ewes. It might be that all the Norfolks came into heat a little bit early but actually haven't ovulated. I don't think this is the issue, because the Jacob ewes, none of them have recycled, and the 5 ewes, so 3 Norfolk Horns and Missy and Lola, that Barbar was in originally, do not seem to have recycled either, which makes me think it is definitely a Monty problem. And so if Montague had done his job, there would be no orange bottoms. There would only be the faintest green bottoms where the dye has started to run off, like this one. Now in terms of lambing next year, it's not a major problem because I noticed. And so I was able to bring in another ram, and he can sweep up all or some of what Montague missed. It just means lambing will be, well, for the ones he's just done, 1 cycle later, and if the original 3 need covering a 3rd time, obviously it will be almost a month later. But I suppose the frustrating thing is that Monty is out of service, because as a breed standard goes for Norfolk Horn, he is beautiful, and Barbar is kind of not. He's a backup ram. He's not the stud ram, so ideally I didn't really want to use him, but we are where we are. And I think it's a little bit unusual maybe because Monty is only a 3 shear, which means he's been sheared 3 times. They're normally sheared in their 2nd year of life, so they're born 1 year and then they're sheared the following year. So he's only 4. So for him to be infertile, a little bit odd. interesting, and this could be coincidence, was that this year I only had singles out of the Norfolk Horns, and they were all with Montague. So was his fertility already starting to decline? Hence why I got no twins. Actually, that's a lie. I got one set of twins, but the ram lamb, when he came out, just wouldn't breathe and didn't make it. Is coincidence, or is it a sign? Maybe, I don't know. On the plus, Montague is aggressive, and I've been dithering about getting rid of him anyway and eating him, just because he can be dangerous. He's hurt me on several occasions, and certainly having gone to visit Nep and want to do a similar kind of thing with a few public footpathy things through here, I couldn't have him in a field with members of the public, because I wouldn't trust that he wouldn't headbutt and hurt them. So in some ways it would be good, because I get rid of him. It gives me a reason to get rid of him. But I am sentimental, and he was my first stud ram, and he's only 4, and it takes... I'm not a very good farmer in that respect. I don't like to rotate stock. I like just to keep them, even though I know he ought to leave. Also, I need to think about the fact that actually I've got 4 lovely ewes out of him, so I've still got his genealogy, and I've got a lovely ram lamb from this year that I'm going to keep. And that, obviously that ram lamb can be used to cover all of my ewes, aside from obviously his sisters and his mother, so the majority of the flock. So Monty going doesn't mean that his genetic lineage runs out, it just means that he is gone. And the more I'm talking to you about it, the more I'm thinking it needs to happen. It will be interesting to see, though, over the next few days, how the covering of the ewes goes. And in that similar vein, I'm going to go and quickly raddle up Oberon again, because Oberon has had a green raddle on. I just want to drop some orange on him just to see if he's covering his ewes again, because that might give me a better and a more informed picture in case there is a problem with the ewes. So interestingly, when I just came to get him, he was tupping somebody. So again, it remains to be seen what's going on. But like you can see, she's got a very obvious green bum. So is she. Hers is faded. But he has done most of them. But now, obviously, now he's orange. So hopefully, Obi, we'll see if he covers anybody else. This is a store lamb, by the way. He's just fast. And he hasn't got any balls. So it doesn't matter if he's out here growing. It's the following morning. It's raining quite a lot. But I'm just checking in on the Jacobs. So that is that tup. Not tup. That is the girl, the ewe, that was being tupped yesterday. So we can see that obviously he's done her. The raddle is working. But no one else. But of course we kind of need to wait a full 15-16 day cycle to just get a definitive answer of who's been covered and if they've been recovered. But yeah, not too bad. Look at the weather now. Glorious. Typical beautiful British autumn. We want more of this, please. So also a little update on the red mite situation with the chickens. If you remember last time, I had a red mite outbreak, I didn't know what to do, and I ended up going to my vet and buying some Exalt, which is a soluble medicine. Pop it in their water, they drink it, the red mites then come along, suck their blood and die. Has it worked? Yes! I did need to do 2 treatments, and you're never going to get all of them, because remember, red mites can live 9 months without feeding. It's also, they come out variable on weather. It's been quite cold, so it's very likely that some of those red mites have disappeared into cracks in the coops, not come out, and then when it gets warmer they will come out again. So now I've got red mite, I probably will have red mite forever. But the amount of red mites, or the collections of red mites that I'm finding, are nowhere to be seen. So I suspect somewhere in the coops there are 1 or 2 little red mites, but I am not seeing any clusters of mites that have come out in the night, fed, and are bright red and sort of squishable, which is a really, really good thing. The other thing I should say is, although the Exalt was expensive, I bought 2 bottles because I didn't think it would go very far. It actually, the amount you need is minuscule. So I did two treatments with 1 bottle. I didn't need the second bottle at all. So actually, I think going forward, I will use this treatment on an ongoing basis as and when red mites occur. But remember, I'm not a vet, and I'm not giving you veterinary advisement. Talk to your vet about it, and they will obviously be able to help sort out the problem. But for me, Exalt in the water with my chickens worked. Also, I can't remember if I told you, but a little update on what's going to happen with the poultry. The poultry obviously used to be in the field over there where the sheep are, but we had the fox attack. So the new plan of action is to have there's my caravan, all of the poultry here. So I'm going to build some more pens. I'm going to build some individual duck baths, so when breeding season is happening, I can split up all the ducks. But there's a number of reasons for that. 1, they'll be in my eyesight, so safer. 2, my God, do the geese poo. They poo a vast amount, and it's all over my barn, and it's gross. And I like having them in this area because they are way better than any guard dog. If anybody comes, especially in the middle of the night, they honk, they wake me up, it's fantastic. But they poo too much. So there's loads of grass out here, they'll have happy grazing, so I'm going to put them out here. And 3, while it's lovely having them free range around the yard and stuff, they do make a mess. And I don't want them totally free ranging, because as the plans for the farm progress and we open up to more of a rewilded site, I want the animals and the poultry contained. But that, my friends, is a very long-term goal, which I want to make as quick as possible. But you know, finances and running a farm and living your life. But thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.